Have you ever looked at a text message for a very long time, knowing you desperately need someone to help you, but you just cannot bring yourself to press send? Have you ever felt completely overwhelmed, craving just a little bit of support to lighten your load, yet the moment someone actually reaches out a hand, your body automatically pulls away? If you are the kind of person who would rather struggle alone for hours than ask for a tiny favor, people might have a lot of labels for you. They might call you stubborn. They might think you are too proud, aloof, or trying to prove that you do not need anybody. On the surface, it looks like a complete rejection of connection. But if we look closer, the story is entirely different. This is not about pride. This is about a deeply exhausted nervous system. Let us look at a very specific moment. Imagine you are sitting in your quiet bedroom late at night. The glow of your phone screen lights up your face. You open a chat window. You start typing a message to a friend, explaining that you are having a hard time and could really use some help tomorrow. You type out the whole thing. Then, before you hit send, you freeze. Your chest tightens. Your breathing gets a little shorter. A thought enters your mind, telling you that they are probably busy, that they have their own problems, and that you are just going to ruin their evening. So, you press the backspace key. You delete it, word by word, until the text box is completely empty again. You put the phone face down on the bedside table, pull the blanket up, and decide you will just figure it out on your own. Again, people looking from the outside think you just like doing things your way. What they do not see is the terrifying fear of becoming a burden. You are constantly making invisible calculations in your head. You calculate exactly how much energy, time, and inconvenience your request might cost the other person. You are terrified of taking something away from them. This goes far beyond just being polite. This is a survival mechanism known as hyper-independence. For someone operating in this mode, asking for help is not just uncomfortable. It feels like an actual emotional threat. Think about how this shows up in your daily life. You might be sick, lying in bed with a fever, and your throat is painfully dry. Someone is in the next room. All you have to do is call out and ask for a glass of cold water. But you do not. You convince yourself that you can wait, or you slowly drag yourself out of bed, holding onto the wall, just to avoid bothering them. Why does your brain do this? Because somewhere along the way, your brain learned to connect your core value as a human being with your ability to not cause trouble. You feel that your presence is only acceptable if it is low maintenance. And this brings us to another painful paradox. What happens when someone actually steps in and helps you anyway? Instead of feeling relieved, your body immediately goes into a state of panic. You feel an overwhelming sense of guilt. It feels like you have just taken on a massive emotional debt, and you have to find a way to repay it instantly. You are at a cafe and a friend offers to pay for your drink. Instead of just saying thank you, your shoulders tense up. You immediately start digging through your bag for your wallet, insisting on splitting the bill down to the exact cent, or promising to buy the next 2 rounds. You do this because the feeling of owing someone is suffocating. Receiving kindness feels dangerous. You do not want anyone to ever have a reason to resent you later, or to feel like you took advantage of them. So you keep the score perfectly balanced, or better yet, you make sure you are always the one giving, never the one receiving. This is how you keep yourself safe. But this kind of safety comes with a very heavy price. It takes an enormous amount of energy to constantly play the role of the lone hero in your own life. But why did you put on this heavy armor in the first place?
Behaviors like this do not appear out of nowhere.
They are usually the lingering traces of an old wound that was never properly healed. If you look closely at your past, you might find a memory that explains everything. Maybe when you were younger, you did try to ask for help. You had a problem you could not solve, a pain you could not carry alone. You stood in front of a closed door, gathered all your courage, and finally knocked. But the person on the other side was not emotionally available. They dismissed you, they ignored you, or worse, they made you feel like an absolute inconvenience. Maybe they sighed heavily, rolled their eyes, or asked you why you could not just figure it out yourself like everyone else. They might have forgotten that moment the very next day, but for you, it changed everything. It only takes a few moments like that for a developing brain to learn a permanent lesson. Your nervous system recorded a new, absolute rule that day. It taught you that asking for help equals emotional danger. It taught you that relying on others means risking painful rejection. It taught you that your needs are too much for the world to handle. So, you made a silent promise to yourself. You decided that the safest way to live is to never need anyone. You built a wall so high and so thick that no one could ever make you feel that small or vulnerable again. Fast forward to today, and that wall is still standing. It shows up in the workplace when you are drowning in tasks but refuse to delegate a single thing. You would rather stay at your desk until midnight, staring at a bright screen with tired eyes, than admit to your team that you are falling behind. It shows up in your relationships when you suddenly distance yourself just as things get serious. Because letting someone in means letting them see the parts of you that need care, and that terrifies you. But here is the profound truth you need to hear today. You are not broken. You are not arrogant. You are not difficult. And you definitely do not hate people. The silent struggle you carry today is just an echo of a time when you spoke up, but no one was truly listening. Your extreme independence is a brilliant, powerful mechanism that your body created to keep you safe when you had absolutely no one else to rely on. You have survived by doing everything yourself, and you should be incredibly proud of that resilience. It got you through the darkest nights. But you do not have to live your entire life in survival mode. Taking off that heavy emotional armor does not make you weak. It does not erase your strength. It simply gives your exhausted nervous system a chance to finally breathe. Allowing someone to help you, even with something incredibly small, is not a failure. It is an act of immense courage. It is you consciously deciding to let someone else step into your world and share the weight. You are not a burden. Your presence is not a nuisance, and your needs are completely, undeniably valid. Letting someone carry a heavy box for you, or simply letting someone bring you a glass of water when you are sick, might be the exact medicine your inner child has been waiting for. How many times has the phrase, "I am fine," robbed you of the chance to be cared for? How many times has your silence pushed away the very love you secretly crave? Take a moment to reflect on that, and share your story in the comments below. You might realize you are not the only one walking this lonely path. And do not forget to subscribe to The Hidden Mind as we continue to discover the mysteries of your mind.